It's the Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams paying their respects to each other's quarterbacks, with one Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, talking about Brock Purdy. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I just think their system is built that they really can expose zone coverage, and yet I think they got enough skill that if you don't have the right people covering their men, that can be challenging too. I mean, it's going to start up front and stopping the run, and hopefully we can get the quarterback not to be in timing like he is, because I can't find a weakness in this quarterback. I every time I put the film on, I'm more and more impressed.
So I guess the question is, do you expect San Francisco to hand Kansas City its first loss of the season?
I do. I think it's a revenge game for the 49ers. They have that going for them. They lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl after leading in both the fourth quarter and overtime. It was a crushing defeat for them. They have not forgot it. I think the 49ers have had a little more time to prepare for this game this week, having played the previous week's Thursday night game. So that's a little bit of an advantage. But the Chiefs are coming off a bye week, too, so they had even more time to prepare for this. 49ers a little weaker in the power ranking at 14 versus the Chiefs' power ranking of 2. They came off a nice win against Seattle, where Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuels, and George Kittle all performed, I thought, extremely well. They've got some rookies that have stepped up, too, on defense, on offense and defense. Garando had a 76-yard run last week. Green and Mustafa playing on the defense played big roles to plug in for injured players in the victory against Seattle. Mason's filled in very nicely at running back for the injured CMC. And now Ricky Pearsall is going to make his appearance this week to play with the best receiving core in the NFL, in my mind. I think the 49ers, they're not only playing a revenge game, but they need to get above 500. I mean, they're 3-3. That's a little surprising to us this year, but they're starting to look much better. I think they get over 500 and beat the Kansas City Chiefs this week. I have more to say, but I want to hear what you've.
There is no shot, zero, that the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game. Because there's one simple fact. Never bet against two people off a bye. Andy Reid, and especially going up against the 49ers, never bet against Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid off a bye is 21-4. Mahomes versus the 49ers, I showed it right before as an accident. This is Mahomes. He's perfect against them. Insane numbers, 339 yards a game. Completion percentage is over 61%. Nearly 9 yards an attempt. Touchdown interception is more than 2-1. Passer rating of 106.3. I mean, what have we seen from Kyle Shanahan against the 49ers? Mahomes handed Shanahan 2 Super Bowl losses in crushing defeat as well. Fourth quarter, has a lead. Now look at Mahomes. Mahomes magic in the fourth quarter. I normally would pick the 49ers in this situation, but I can't fight the numbers. I'm a big guy. I'm a big person who says numbers don't lie. Have I gotten criticized for that? Absolutely. But when it comes down to it, the Chiefs are doing something that they've done last year, and honestly, we shouldn't be surprised that they're doing it. They're already down some of their top defensive players that were in that Super Bowl. L'Jarius Sneed was a part of that team. Willie Gay, Mike Edwards, they all played a massive role in the Super Bowl, as well as they're already down their top 2 receivers in Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, who was supposed to be a big part of this offense, especially from last year when they had no receiver. He's out for basically the entire regular season. And then you also have Rashee Rice, who is really coming alive this year as Mahomes' number 1 target, and he's down. So, and also Travis Kelce, it doesn't look, at least so far throughout the year, like the same Travis Kelce, but he's still getting it done. Xavier Worthy has been a nice gadget player, but hasn't been the volume receiver that I don't think a lot of us expected him to be anyway. The offensive line also, Donovan Smith, they got off of him. By the way, he's not even on a team anymore. The Chiefs are doing something incredible. They already benched their starting tackle for a rookie. That they replaced one of their rookies that was supposed to be their starting left tackle. So the Chiefs are doing this with a bunch of just scrap pieces. Kareem Hunt sitting on the couch. He's back making a big impact. The 49ers, by the way, this great defensive front against the Chiefs that they played in the Super Bowl, there's only one of the 4 starters on the defensive front. Armstead's already at Jacksonville. Chase Young's on the Saints. Hargrave is out for at least the regular season. The bolstering factor of this defense is just Nick Bosa. Also, Travarius Ward, he was banged up. I'm sure he's not 100%. But here's my big one. Christian McCaffrey in the Super Bowl. 160 total yards, leading rusher and leading receiver. He's out for this game, obviously. How the hell are the Chiefs going to be able to just completely gag on defense when their top running back and really top threat, you just look at the Super Bowl numbers, 22 carries, 8 catches on 8 targets. He had the second most targets in the Super Bowl last year. Also, number 2 receiver in the Super Bowl, Brandon Ayuk. Where has he been all year? He got the bag and he settled down. He really hasn't come alive yet. Yet he's making $30 million a year. The Chiefs are winning this game. I'm shocked. They're under. By the way, Mahomes as an underdog, 11-1-1 against the spread. This is Mahomes' game. He lives for this moment. Brock Purdy, the second halves have been a massive trouble for him. He's just not playing well.
Mm-hmm. Well, those are good arguments, I think, but I think you overlooked a big factor here, that the Chiefs' wide receiver core is weak, to say the least. They have
hasn't mattered.
They're going to be going to since Rashee Rice got hurt. They've been going to Travis Kelce more and more. Did you know that Fred Warner is one of the leading pass defenders against tight ends in the league? He's third best in pass coverage, allowing only 72.7 quarterback rating, and has the number 1 coverage grade. They're going to be having to go to Kelce now because their wide receiver core is decimated, and they have JuJu Smith-Schuster as one of their big receivers now, which we know he's very inconsistent. I think that's going to be a key matchup, Warner against Kelce. And we also have seen the Chiefs play just well enough to win in many games this year, right? And Mahomes not looking like he has in the past. His quarterback rating is down pretty low compared to what we expected.
That is true.
And so I think that one of these weeks the Chiefs are going to trip up and lose. I've always said they have the heart of the champion. They find a way to win. But last year they had a stretch where they had a number of losses, and they didn't play like the championship team. And I think with the 49ers needing the win, playing at home, looking at the revenge factor, Brock Purdy playing much better than he has been playing. Deebo Samuel's having a great game last week. Brock Purdy, the second most passing yards in the league with 1,629 yards and per attempt 8.8, fourth best in QBR at 70.3. I think the one weakness that the 49ers have in the passing game is when the opponents blitz, and that's where Purdy's rating drops to number 18. And the Chiefs have the second highest blitz rate at 34.2%. But the 49ers picked that up well in the Super Bowl. They blitzed him, I think, over 50. What was it? In the Super Bowl, they blitzed him much more than that. But he had a great QBR rating, 106. They were blitzing regularly in the Super Bowl, and he still had over 106. Quarterback rating, no turnovers, 1 TD, and a 66.7% completion ratio. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I do think the 49ers are going to come out on top.
How is the 49ers offensive line going to stop Chris Jones?
Well, I think that
49ers offensive line doesn't look that good.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they going to stop Chris Jones?
Well, I think that will be difficult, and I do think Chris Jones will get a sack or maybe 2. But I think that the 49ers have had a very good running game so far this year. I think they'll be able to sucker the Chiefs' defensive line in and hand it off and gain some yards on the ground. So I do think that they'll be running the ball.
You talk about Fred
They
Warner.
run the ball almost 50% of the time.
Correct, and here's the big problem with that. No opposing running back with 11 or more rushing attempts. Bijan Robinson, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, and J.K. Dobbins have gained even 50 yards. The running game, if the Chiefs just play like they normally have all season, and think about it, those are some top running backs. Alvin Kamara's having a great year. Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league. J.K. Dobbins, to start the year, had 9.9 yards a carry. Bijan Robinson, we all think is a great running back. They haven't even gotten 50 yards. And we're talking about Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero going to break out in this game. I can't see it. And by the way, Jordan Mason's just come off the injury report. I guarantee he probably won't be 100%, but he's off. He's healthy, at least for right now. How are they going to be able to run against probably one? I know they're not the number 1 rush defense in the league, but I believe they're top 5 in the league. There is no shot, Zero chance. Nobody runs against the Chiefs because they're so good with their defensive interior that's just not going to happen. And you also have the interior of the offensive line who got absolutely decimated last week. And that's going to generate pressure for Brock Purdy. You talk about the Super Bowl, Fred Warner gave up 42 yards to Travis Kelce, 14 yards a catch. I think that's the thing about it. Every time Fred Warner was in coverage of Travis Kelce, he got more than a first down each catch. That's going to be a serious problem. We talk about against the pressure. So far this season, under pressure, we have to go all the way down. By the way, Brock Purdy has not had a great season. He's had a good season. Not a great one. He's not shattering any numbers. He's not that great. Only a 57% completion percentage while under pressure. I don't trust Brock Purdy in these situations. It's more so I trust the Chiefs way more. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, great quarterback, whatever you want to call him. I can't trust him against the Chiefs team like this. Kyle Shanahan always finds a way to choke these games out. He hasn't gotten a handle on Andy Reid's scheme, on anything that Steve Spagnuolo throws at him. I think this is going to be an easy game for the Chiefs. I'm not saying blowout, but they're definitely going to win this game. I don't understand how the 49ers are even favorites in this game. Beat them in the Super Bowl. Beat them 3 other times that Mahomes has been the quarterback for. Kyle Shanahan has zero answers. Zero answers for anything that Andy Reid does. Bad interior offensive line. Running game will be non-existent. The defense doesn't have its top-tier players that made an impact in the Super Bowl last year. Only Nick Bosa is the last remaining starter from that defensive front 4. Cornerbacks are all banged up. The Chiefs, on the other hand, you bring up a good point. Correct, they don't have receiver talent. They don't have their top running back, Isiah Pacheco. Kareem Hunt has made a massive impact, and guess what? They're 5-0 without all those. They're 5-0 without Rashee Rice. He was there for a couple games, but they just won the past couple games without him. They're there without Hollywood Brown. They're 5-0 without Travis Kelce being a top number 1 tight end in the league. They're 5-0 with a not great offensive line. They're 5-0 with Mahomes having his worst year of his career. They come down late, and that's where Mahomes thrives.
They're going to lose a game somewhere along the line, and this is going to be the one. The 49ers rushing game's 3rd best in the league, 158 yards per game. They're 7th in yards per carry at 5. 8th highest in number of run plays, 49%. Kansas City has played well against the run, and particularly well the last 4 games, 3 yards per carry. They've done well against, as you mentioned, Henry, Robinson, and Kamara. But the Henry game was the first game of the season, and that's before the Ravens figured out how to use Derrick Henry to his optimal best. So I'd throw that one out. I think that it's going to be touchdown. I think it's going to be a close game, but I do think that the 49ers are going to pull it out. They're playing at home. They'll have their fans rooting for them there. Kansas City. It's, they're 5-0. They don't need this game as much as the 49ers do. I think that comes that's a big factor here in terms of motivation.
I mean, yeah, correct. The 49ers need this game much more than the Chiefs do because they have more to prove. They have to prove that they could finally beat the Chiefs. Kyle Shanahan has a lot riding on this game because I guarantee you if they lose this game, let's say it's a Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the Niners. If they go 5-0, the Chiefs do against the 49ers, Mahomes goes 5-0 against Kyle Shanahan, well, that's going to be a serious problem. That's going to be a big dark cloud looming over your head that you can't get past Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson has it. Basically, every quarterback and every team besides Joe Burrow and the Bengals have that cloud.
That's another motivating factor of the 49ers. Get Shanahan a win against Andy Reid. I think that's a big motivating factor in this game. Shanahan needs to get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. He hasn't won one yet. This is going to be a test for the 49ers and a measuring stick of where they are this season. If they can pull off a win against the Chiefs, it's a big plus for them, and it will launch them into the rest of the season where they need to win a lot of games so that they win that number 1 seed.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.